It's Rebecca Halliday from Riverbend Community School here with 3 original gangsters from the Riverbend program. We've got right here Kenny McGilvery, who used to be known as
Kenbot 50/50.
Kenbot 50/50. We have Logan Kendrick, who used to be known as
Logor.
Sam doesn't have a good nickname.
I think it was just like Logan used to just Logan Jordan used to call me like Sammers or Sammers.
Yes, and over here we have Sam Ricker, also known as Sammers. So these were 3 kiddos that came to my program. I think all of you were in grade 5?
Yeah.
Grade 5, grade 6?
I was in grade 7.
You came later, yeah. These guys, first was Kenny. Kenny was one of the OG, like first day, Canada, 6 kids. I had a little tiny baby, and I didn't know what I was doing, and Kenbot was there. Then Sam came the next year, right?
Yeah.
And then Logor, you came in grade 7. So the 3rd year into the program, I think. So these are all kiddos who I'm super proud of them. So we're here today to interview them about how the Riverbend experience was for them, what they got out of it, and basically how they're doing now. The reason I'm doing this is because I want you to know that these guys came into the Riverbend program as an off-ramp. This was just something they did to build skills, build confidence, and then go back into high school. And they, spoiler alert, have done really great. And I'm super proud of them. I won't cry. They've seen me in, I do have my roller skates on. All right, well, let's just call it what it is. I have my roller skates on. They did amazingly well, and I think a lot of parents are really nervous when they send their kids to Riverbend about, what will my kid be okay socially? What does it look like when they're done at Riverbend? So we're going to talk to them about it today. It's like a little talk show. Let's start with you, Kenbot. Kenbot, what was it like when you first came to Riverbend? What were you needing?
I needed support and to end the discouragement that I felt when in public school.
I love the way you said that. End the discouragement. I think that's a lot of kids' experience is they feel discouraged, they feel overwhelmed, and now when we're adding in, imagine if you had gone through the pandemic at that grade.
True.
So I feel like kids now are feeling that big time discouragement, overwhelmed, and all that stuff. So when you came to Riverbend, what was it like?
I was nervous at first. I bet that most people would be nervous changing their school so completely, but it turned out great. It was honestly, it's one of the things that I am really glad that I ended up doing.
I bumped into these guys, or we went to an event a couple years ago. You remember we went to Riverview High School?
Yeah.
There was like the green paper thing that Cardi was touring, and I brought these guys with me, Sam and Kenny, and we went somewhere after, and they were like, this stuck out with me a lot. I don't know if you guys know this, but I always thought, oh my gosh, they went off to high school, they played sports, they were super cool. I wonder if when they look back at their time at Riverbend, do they regret it? Do they feel like, and they both said, without missing a beat, we were in Sobeys getting treats or something, and they said, if we could rewind and go back to Riverbend, we would. And that was a couple years ago, and I was like, what? Really? You're doing so great, because they were in high school at this point, and I just remember thinking like, man, that's so profound, because they went on to do so well. So yeah, I was really glad you guys told me that. So Riverbend, how long did you stay? Do you remember?
4 years, I think.
So he stayed for his entire time and reintegrated back into high school at his grade 9. So he stayed grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, and grade 8. So he stayed a really long time. And then what did you feel like when it was time to go back into grade 9?
Of course, I was nervous again. Big change and different friends, obviously.
Yeah.
But I felt really confident going in, and I know I did a lot better because of it, and just the fact that I knew I believed in myself, it made a big difference.
And he's one of these kids too. So may I share that you're dyslexic?
Oh.
So Kenbot is dyslexic, and he's one of those kids that you're like, oh yeah, Kenny's dyslexic because he's so smart. And there's this idea that dyslexia goes alongside with really, really, really struggling. It does in the beginning, but he's one of those kids that just found his strategies, used his technology, and like rose above to the point where it was insane. And you'd never know in a million years that he's dyslexic. So, I mean, that was his story. Many kids have different stories, but now where are you going? What's happening now in your life?
I'm going to Mount Allison now. I'm pretty excited. I'm just as confident as I was going into grade 9, if not even more.
What program are you going into?
I'm going into commerce.
Right. So for parents that are out there that are like, oh, I don't know, if they come out of public school, will they get weird socially? He was already weird when he arrived. So, I mean, that had nothing to do with Riverbend. Is that fair, Kevbot?
That's a fair thing to say, yeah.
Yep. Oh, but the confidence building, so having 4 years, he also has ADHD. I remember, do you remember the stop sign?
I sure do. Of course.
Every day. Oh, and there was a very bad period of moldy sandwiches in the cubbies, like to the point where it was atrocious. I was also pregnant during my time while they were there, so we had to have a lot of talks. At that point, they were like grade 7, 8, so we had to have a lot of talk about like handling your BO because I was gonna throw up, and moldy, gross sandwiches. Also, when I had a baby on board, they were just gross. So we survived that together.
Yep.
Yeah. But what was my point? They came. So during his 4 years, his ADHD was like. So there was a stop sign that I had that said, "Kenny, stop," and it was on the stairs going out. Do you have your homework folder? Do you have your iPad? Do you have your headphones? And it worked for like a week, and I was like, man, I got this nailed. And then about a week or 4 days in, he just totally forgot that the sign was there. It just became like part of the wall, and we had to move stuff around. But it also allowed them to just also work at their own pace. Those 4 years, he kind of came into his own and figured out his strategies and figured out what worked for him. And the first couple of years, we had to wiggle through some stuff, right? Like I always talk about the Riverbend program right away. People want everything to be fixed and done and better in 1 year. Do you think that 1 year would have done it?
No, absolutely not.
Why?
I mean, obviously the first year is really important. But when I really started to notice the change, it was about 2 years in.
Yeah.
I was about grade 7, and I ended up being excited about education and like really appreciating where I was at.
And I think the neat thing with the way we did it at the time was we just stayed on stuff until they got it. Like Sammers, remember your writing? You would bring me something over and you'd be like, done, nailed it. And what would I say?
In the most polite way possible, like the most polite way possible. Sam, this isn't good. You need to restart.
It might have been, this is garbage, go start again.
Yeah.
We got so comfortable with each other too. I won't tell your kids that their writing is garbage. Don't worry. Unless they stay for 4 years and we become like family. Sam also would make spelling mistakes.
Oh, I still do.
Of course. Most dyslexic kids are also going to be troublesome spellers, and that is okay. What would I do though? Do you remember when you would try and spell stuff? What would I do to you from the board? I would throw stuff at him. So like little pieces of eraser, the foam dice.
You did.
When he would spell like the day of the week wrong or something.
Like Wednesday? I could never get it.
Yeah.
Weeks on weeks, I could never get it.
I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you to spell Wednesday now, but...
Probably get it. To be completely honest, I probably wouldn't.
Don't worry. Also, your kids will learn how to spell Wednesday if they come here. He gave up on Wednesday.
Actually,
jeez.
Can I actually try it?
He's just joking.
Can I actually try it?
Yes. Yeah, spell Wednesday, Sam. Get over here.
I need
spell
a marker.
Spell it out loud with your mouth.
I need to...
That's a whiteboard table.
Okay.
Yeah, fancy. Sit your biscuits
sorry.
down.
My bad.
We're gonna go to Logan next while I get him. Logor, tell him your story. What did you love about coming to Riverbend?
The support. Biggest thing was the support, having everyone there, and we all work together to help each other, just to strive to be better. Some people struggle more with other things, and other people struggle with other things, and whoever was better at something would help everyone else.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think it becomes this little community of people who are going through the same thing. They either came, in the early days, Riverbend was just designated for kids who had learning disability or ADHD. And it was either significant to mild, and they were just looking for something that wasn't as big. I remember for you, Kenny, one of the things about school that you found when you were little was that it was overwhelming, right? So you found like you were kind of lost in the mix,
Definitely.
right? And we were really small when we started. We were 6 kids, then we grew to 10, and then I think our biggest class was 16. And that's when it was.
My third year or second
Yeah.
year?
My first year.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3rd year into the program, it was 16 kids. So they would kind of gravitate towards the kids. If somebody was a good speller, somebody was a great writer, they would go work in these natural pods where the kids who were stronger at something, we kind of got into this ask 3 before me, and I worked at my desk. Do you remember that?
I hated that.
Oh
Didn't
my
want to go to you.
gosh.
Oh.
Well, I didn't want you to come to
I
me.
know.
I was busy. But yeah, they start really, we had this big sign up over the board too that said, I remember it was something like you're in charge of yourself, or it was really trying to teach them that ownership around their work. And the biggest thing I think for these guys is the pressure was off, right? They were just allowed to come to school with wherever their skills were, wherever they were at each day. Like you struggled in the morning, like mornings were really tough, but that was also like you learning to be your ADHD self, and getting up early is really hard for ADHDers. So you'd stroll in when you were ready, but it wasn't with judgment. It was just like when he got there, he was ready to rock, but it was usually kind of late, but it didn't matter, right? Yeah, you just got going. So that's the kind of thing with the program. It adapts to where kids are at, and then they kind of go to their strengths. You were going to spell Wednesday. Sam, tell them about what it was like when you came.
I was very nervous, very unmotivated. I hated school. I was so done with school. But going to Riverbend, a type of confidence was built in me. Like, I was ready to go. I was ready to go. I was ready to take on the challenge of school, and Riverbend really helped. The family base of everything, I never felt alone. Never felt alone. I always felt like somebody was there to help me.
What did you say to me the other day when you were here? Because he still comes to this space for tutoring, for math, and that's the thing, like, you had to keep up with your skills even after you left the program. Like, you learned your foundation with me, but still, like, understanding that when sometimes you have a neurodiverse brain, you just always have to work at it. And Logorb, I mean, coming back to you, then you can spell Wednesday. You went right into the workforce, right out of high school, right?
Yeah, I went full-time work, like, left school like 3 months early.
Yeah. So how are you doing in the workforce?
Good. After a year full-time, I am a junior driller, learning for myself there, but I have my own crew and everything, and
Tons of responsibility. Right? I saw online maybe last year that you had created this cool drawing thing for the fire department for their suits, right?
yeah, I made a fire suit driver.
Like, this is like, he's a genius in that way. The hands-on learning, the outside the box thinking, like, that's what kind of brain comes up with this stuff. Like, amazing. Super proud of you. Okay.
Am I doing it? You give me like a few tries here.
Yeah, that's a whiteboard table. Okay. Oh, he's pulling the whiteboard table over. So here we go. Look at me. Look at me. Wednesday.
I think I got it. Let me write it small here first, so I can like look at it real quick.
Okay. No pressure. Just still filming. Wednesday.
Oh my god.
Oh, I can throw something. Oh, this is, look.
Can't remember if there's two S's, but we're going with that. Oh, that was my dog.
What you got? Tell me out loud.
No, you gotta look at it first.
Okay. Oh, the camera can't see. Wed.
Is there two S's?
There's not two. He got it. Oh my gosh. See close. If you send your kid to Riverbend, by how old are you?
18.
18. It only takes them 3 tries to spell Wednesday. Listen, this kid is so amazing and smart. Tell them what you accomplished at Moncton High School with your English. Unaccommodated with your English.
Oh, I was not strong in English. I hate writing, I hate reading, but I worked really hard in grade 12 English and I succeeded with an 80.
80. Unaccommodated. Also,
Yeah,
what did you tell me? Oh yeah, what did you tell me a couple weeks ago when you came in? You said if it hadn't been for Riverbend.
Oh, if I hadn't been for Riverbend, I would have dropped out.
would have dropped out. I would never have allowed that to happen. I would have driven immediate. His mother wouldn't have either.
Yeah, no, there's no way, but
But
would have been a lot of times just me sleeping in my bed.
yeah, trying to spell Wednesday.
Yeah, I still can't spell it. But I'm graduating, going to university, but I can't spell Wednesday.
So tell them where you've been accepted.
I've been accepted with my friend Kenny to Mount A. We're dorming together.
Oh my God.
Really excited. Both of us are taking a Bachelor's of Commerce.
And these guys met where?
Riverbend.
They met at Riverbend, and they're total soulmates. And he graduated last year and has waited for 1 year for Sammers to join him at university, as if, my goodness. So what would you say to parents, any of you, this is open to the floor, to parents who were worried about pulling their child out of public school and putting them into a program like Riverbend?
I don't think you can be hesitant to do that because it's going to be the best thing that you can do for your kid.
Those were critical years for you guys. You guys got to like kind of skip middle school essentially, right? So middle school can be really tricky. And when you enter at grade 5, 6, or 7, there's been years of foundational skills that just were never there. So when they came to me, we had a lot of work to do to catch you guys up, right? As readers and writers. So the earlier you can, but we didn't have an early years program. Now we have an early years program, but they didn't have that available to them. So by the time they got to grade 5, they were already pretty frustrated.
Absolutely.
What other feelings, I guess? You said it so beautifully, Kenny. What did you say at the beginning of this?
Discouraged.
Discouraged, right? Discouraged, and getting them to kind of rescue them from those feelings by grade 5 was kind of a miracle. Like, a lot of kids are smart, and they're smart. So they're smart enough to know that it wasn't going well for them at school. They're smart enough to know that they weren't learning like everyone else. And they were smart enough to know that something was up. And if you let that go much longer than grade 5, 6, middle school, they internalize, I would say that's fair to say, is you internalize that as something going on with you or something's wrong with you versus how your brain's wired. And we talked a ton about our brains. I mean, which reminds me of a song.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God. Sam will do it with me. These guys probably won't. Prefrontal cortex, amygdala, hippocampus, la la la, my brain.
That's right.
Oh my God, look at that. He did it with me. These two guys are...
I remembered it.
I still sing it now with my kids in the program, but my daughter's in the program and she's in grade 3 and she is so mortified, which is fair. So the point of this is they came to the program, they turned out amazing. They're off to do university. These were kids that, like, the dyslexic piece and the ADHD piece got in their way. It really did. And we worked together to hack what they needed. I checked in with them during their high school time a bit, but they went off and did their thing pretty independently. So I'm certainly paying them for their time here by taking them out for supper after this. But no, I just wanted you to see what can happen with kiddos that come to the program as an off-ramp and then reintegrate. I promise you they turn out wonderful, amazing, just like these young gents right here. Thanks, guys. Now back to you.